Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So we were looking at how we join data frames, and we showed you some simple examples in the last module. But there are cases where when you want to join data frames, you might not have all the information or all the same information in the data frames. There might also be possibilities of joining one to the left or right and so on. So there are several different commands that make it easy for one to join these data frames. So what we're going to do in this module is we're going to take a data frame and then show you some commands and then explain the rationale of those commands. And then we're going to leave you with a few commands that you can work out yourself and see what happens. So let's go back to a very similar data frame as the one in the previous module. We have name, we have month, we have blood sugar, and we have blood pressure. And we generate this data frame using the standard data frame commands. Now, let's say I generate another data frame, which is PD new. Now this has, interestingly, only two columns. One is name, another one is department. It doesn't have the month, the blood sugar, and blood pressure. Now the question is it possible to join these two data frames? So this data frame is generated using the commands that are shown in the code window of this slide. Very, very simple, same commands as we've seen before. Now let's start with one join command. Let's say I want to join rows of data frame 1, data frame 2 based on the ID variable. Now I see a problem. If I use the ID variable name for this join, in one data frame I have Sam and Senthil. In the other data frame, while I have Sam and Senthil, I also have a new name that is not there in the data frame 1, which is PD. Now the question is, when I join these two with this identifier, what happens to the data that is available or not available? So let's look at what happens in this case. So we first look at this join, left join command. So the syntax is simple. Left join whatever data frame you want to join with whatever data frame. So this is PD and BD new. And how are you going to join them? It's by name is what we are saying here. But when we look at this, it says, okay, data frame 1 has name, Senthil, Sam. And corresponding to Senthil and Sam, I can see corresponding information in data frame 2. But when it comes to Ramesh, I don't have corresponding information for Ramesh in data frame 1, which is blood sugar and blood pressure. So if you do left join with PD as the first argument and PD new as the second argument, then what R is going to do is it's going to take PD as the reference. So whatever is available in PD, it is going to use as a reference, and anything new that comes out in PD new, it's going to drop. So in this case, when I join this, you see the result here. It has added information for Senthil and Sam in terms of a department, which was information that came from PD new. But unfortunately, since Ramesh didn't have any information in PD1, that name got left out. So this is left join with PD as the first argument, PD new as the second argument. Now, an interesting question would be, if I were to actually change the order in which I am joining this, and instead of doing PD and PD new, if I were to do PD new and PD, now since PD new is the reference, and Senthil, Sam, and Ramesh are there, I should still retain Ramesh because that has become the reference, but I have no information for Ramesh in terms of month, blood sugar, and blood pressure in the other data frame. In this case, what R does is, for the names that have information on both data frames, such as Senthil and Sam, it concatenates. But now, unlike the previous time where PD was the reference, since PD new is the reference now, I am forced to retain Ramesh. So whatever information is there for Ramesh comes back, but whatever information is not there, it says it's not available. So that is how R joins these data frames. So there are many commands within the data frame that you can look at. I'm going to explain one more command, which is write join, to give you a good flavor of how this works. And then I leave you with several commands that you should play around with in R to understand this better yourself. So let's look at write join. So write join, I have PD new by name. Now it's interesting, what happens is in write join, similar to left join, whatever is on the right side, the second element is the reference now. So when I do write join PD new, you see Ramesh is still retained because it's a different order than before, but it is write join. So the reference is PD new. And when I do write join with PD new and PD, since PD is a reference, Ramesh is left out. It's very similar to left join. So you have to be careful about the order in which you are joining the references. And when a particular reference is chosen, then if there is no information available, it is not available. But in the original referencing, if that entry was not there, then it is left out. That's the basic idea behind right join and left join. You can also do inner join, which basically says I'm not going to distinguish between right join and left join. Inner join would only use things that are available in both. So if you were to use the same thing here, it will only pick information that is available for both the data frames and give you the result. So this is inner join. Now there are many other types of joins that you can look at: full join, semi-join, anti-join, and so on. Now it's very similar to whatever we have seen till now, and you basically have to just create two data frames in R, use this command and see the result when you change the order, and then try and understand how R works. So with this, we know how to look at data frames, we know how to look at lists, we know how to access elements of these, and we know how to recast them in ways that are useful for us.